Yeah. I don't know so much. The reason that I'm so wise and intelligent is because I correctly chose not to be smart. Right. Right. Yeah. I don't like I said, I'm not educated. I'm not an educated person. I'm very dumb. I'm very dumb. I'm a very dumb person. I'm not a smart person. You know how you say it's an educated man. I'm not an educated man. I didn't complete education, the educational system. Nor was it when I was there did I do good. I'm not one of the children that you hear people saying, always did good in school. My marks was always high. I was a straight A student or something like that. That wouldn't be me. My conduct reports were bad. My grades were bad, and my attendance was just not, visible. And meaning I didn't accept the education. I didn't get along with it. If for those who have that, they can say from the beginning of their educational system that they've been good. Always had good grades and everything. And there you go. Those, I guess, are the smart and educated people. And it's two different things. They don't know what I know. I know what they know because I went back on my own and studied what the educational system was about. But I didn't have a diploma. I don't have a high school diploma. I don't have a GED. I'm not going back to try to get a GED. I do not want a GED. I don't have a 401k plan. I don't have a retirement plan. I don't have medical insurance. I am not a part of their system no more than this YouTube to do a job and proper identification to obey the laws of this land to just move about, and then that's about all you get from me on the grid. And now I get legal with my, LLC and everything, but I'm not an educated person. I'm enlightened and I'm wise, and what I have for you is no way to compare it by. So if you're a person that went through a system of education, religion, whatever, your government has to offer here, and I tell you something, how are you going to compare it? You're going back and you're checking it by what? Your education? You understand? I'm outside of that box. That is a box, and I think outside of that box. So, and lately I just been off, just staying off and staying away because I'm so focused on doing other things right now. So, yeah. Next question. Slavery? I don't deal with slavery. My teachings don't deal with telling a group of people that their ancestors lied in slavery and that they were somewhere for 400 years in slavery, which I will admit slavery existed. Now to the extent as they educated, their school systems educated people to believe, you'd have to go back and check, check construction, check if boats were being made at that time, if this were being made at that time. Did the technology to go all the way to Africa and bring 100,000 people, is that possible? You have to, source some of them things out. And then you got to realize that you were taught about Egyptians, you were taught about Africans over on the east. Over here, you were taught about natives, you were taught about Aztec, Incas, Mayans, Olmecs. So I mean, how do you know where you're from? How do you know which one of those beings, those tribes or governments that were set up that you're from? And of course, they're going to pick the lowest group of people that didn't have nothing, that were in tribes, and tell you was from Africa, and they were the ones that was kidnapped and stuff like that. So, that's just something else. But I want everybody to pay attention to this. You're telling me about slavery, and what I do is open people, turn on the light bulb a little bit. You can go right now and do your research on slavery, and you can read some of the worst slave stories from Willie Lynch to the hangings and things of that nature, right? And say if you're reading about this, and that you're reading about this in this, say, 1426 or 1419 or 1512, that's the year, in the 1600s or something, 1700s, 1800s, slavery, just whenever it was supposed to be. You can pick up a book and read about hard slavery. Let's just say in 1452 on August 8th, this happened when people wasn't free. Then I can pick up another book in 1452, August 8th, same day, and read about free black people, and read about kings, and read about black people that had farms. In other words, if Harriet Tubman knew of a place where you can go to be free on the earth, then the whole planet, everybody wasn't in slavery. All tribes, all black people, so-called, everybody wasn't in slavery. Where did she go? The Underground Railroad led to what? Virginia somewhere, where you could be free. And if you can escape and get up north, you hear all this in slave stories, then you're free right up north. Oh, with other black people that are free? So when you really sort it out, just go and do this. Read about slavery, find out what year that took place, then do your research on prolific black farmers or people that were free that were black, right at the same time, within miles away from each other, within, what was now called states away from each other. Because if you could just come from the South and be up north, then you're free, and there's no slavery there. There's Indians all around there, all that. What were the cowboys doing at this time? This is all around cowboys' time. You hear about Jesse James and all that. Look at the year you see these Westerns. And these are the years they're talking about America was in slavery. Now, what I'm saying is they made it to me more enormous than it was. It can never be more dreadful and tragic. That's sick. Slavery did exist to some extent to certain people. I'm just saying you have to find out how bad was it. Was it 400 years? You're learning this in an educational system. Outside of that, where do you learn about slavery at? Where did you go to know about slavery? You keep going to people's books. This dude wrote a book. This dude wrote a book. He's the author of this. This dude name is Ahmed Quantitero. Have you heard him? People call me all day. Friends, girls I deal with, women I deal with, meaning women I deal with, period, meaning the female gender. Not females, though. But, you heard this guy on YouTube, his name is Dr. Tariq something. This dude, his name is Rashad Lennon L. This dude name is, none of them could fuck with me. Come on, man. How dare you know about a solistic teacher that gets mental transformations, and I'm teaching you about the sun, and I don't want to hear nothing educated or authored, and you go into me with guys that go to lectures and pull out paperwork and books and do research. He read this African book. He knows this African knowledge. He knows this African knowledge. He went to Africa. He studied on the wall. Okay, what did he get from his own head? Because you're telling me these guys are masters of books, and their mentality leads back to their smartness, and they're smart enough to remember the books that they read, who have authors, and a lot of times European authors are behind things. Just like I tell you, a lot of our slave songs, things like that, were actually written by Europeans. It's a song that I like, Strange Fruit. Speaking of, I think people getting killed, I think Nina Simone sung it. I think a European wrote it. And some of our We Shall Overcome songs were written by white people. You know what I mean? So what I'm saying is to say that the gut or the soul in it ain't me. So if you got educated or you smart enough to know all this African stuff because you read this book, that, but I don't care if it was by a black man or whatever, he read it and got it from an educational system, from your capturer, period. Because ain't none of y'all saying y'all got this from out of your own head. You're saying you got it from books. I don't deal with bookworms. I mean, now, can they break me down? Could they be nicer to me? Because they're going to go back and say the Quran said, the Bible said, this book said, the ANTHR said, this titled book said. Yeah, where did them books come from? Where all those tablets and scrolls and stuff you talking about come from? Oh, such and such, this came from this came from that. I mean, well, what are you teaching? See, because I have a whole curriculum. I have a whole culture that I'm bringing into existence just by teaching you about Soul Future and teaching you different things away from the African set. A lot of them can't teach if they can't teach about Africa. So watch out for these Pan-African men and all of that kind of stuff. Keep trying to get you to Africa. Africa is only the center of all civilization. You wasn't a person that needed to be civilized. This is the European speaking from himself. If that laboratory and that creation took place in what we now call Africa today, where all the apes and everything was, it was like a zoo for us where we kept animals for the project that we was going to create, pantry dish full of different animals. And yeah, Adam and Eve was set in the garden and a serpent came over and taught them and they got civilized. So for them, this place called Africa, which later on a European man called Africanus captured people and made them take his name, this the center of civilization for the European. I'm a civilizer. It's like somebody telling you, oh, you unjailed. That means you had to be jailed. I never was jailed. Don't say I'm unjailed. I never was wild and unruly. So don't say I'm civilized with an ED on it. I'm a civilizer. I'm a nature man. I'm a man of nature. I stayed away from the building. I stayed away from civilization. I stayed away from all of that because I'm a civilizer. I'm a ground person. And when those people begin getting unruly and beast, like Cain said, what about the people that's going to get me out there that know that I did this killing? All these beasts, when he was talking about that, they was wild and unruly, killing, Cain killing Abel. So they needed to be civilized. They needed commandments. So when they say Africa is the center of all civilization, I want so-called black people to not get caught up in that. That's a lie. And they know how to tell you true lies. A lot of things capture you people because they put the truth in it. And then they got to go and put the dye in it. They got to go from carbon to melanin. They got to water down things. You understand? So that you can't know. Cell phones, systems, societies, all these systems you're underneath, everything they got you captured under is a system. The only system you need to worry about is two of them. It's the one that controls you. The sole controlling system is the solar system, and the system that digests your food and helps your body out, your digestive system. Stay away from the penal system, the judiciary system, all these other educational systems, religious systems, and all of that's moving fast. iPhones, this, new apps, cell phones, sports, basketball, tickets to go here, go hunting, go Hawaii, go away, go with this. All this is to get you not to think on your own, especially school. Why you think there was a truant officer? If you didn't take your child to school, a truant officer will knock on your door and put you in jail. You'll be in trouble because education they made mandatory. Why? Why? One reason, so that you can't think and do what I'm doing. And say that I received solar taps. I name people. All right? Shout out to the young child that I just named, Kobra Nyeil. And she's a little baby that was born a year ago. And I told the parents that wanted me to name her to just wait so we can see her movements. And I named her Kobra Nyeil. And that's going to sink into y'all in a while, and it's going to be dope. And y'all going to start using it like my other names. I got children out here named Apexx, you know what I mean? So Kobra Nyeil, I'll be to see you. And she's blessed. And we don't put an X on our name. A lot of people, didn't understand what the X was. Malcolm said X for the unknown. We don't represent the X unless we're talking about a planetary ship that's moving called Nibiru, which was Planet X. Soul Future here does not represent the X anymore or anything like that. Black people or anything. I don't like black people. I don't like niggers. I don't like you, and I mean your mentality. I don't like you. And a lot of y'all are now understanding, overstanding what I've been talking about for the last few months about black people getting sick, having heart attacks. May you rest in peace, K. Slay. Whoever else passed since I made that statement, because I know what's going on. Black people are sick. They're walking around, they're begging, they want retribution, they want money for stolen arts, for lost arts, for things that their ancestors so-called did. And meanwhile, you're not creating nothing today for people to want tomorrow. You understand? Create something today. And that's what Soul Future is all about, man. We're here creating something today. We removed our X because we now know. I'm a part of the beings that know what's going on. I don't raise my hand. I don't act like, I know everything. But what I know is what I know. And that's what y'all have to get into. You have to get into the EYE and remove your I. Your I will be yourself. That's the regular I that you can put a dot over a line, or you can put a line and put two lines underneath it. That will be an I. And then you have the EYEI, which is connected to Mintu. That's why they say your third eye. When they're talking about your third eye, not talking about self now. That's that vision that you're seeing things through your solar way, through your transformations, through your solar taps, and you're just getting things in your head. You're not afraid to speak it and share it. That's why I say I share it. And this is for my solar family and those who log on. You understand what I'm saying? So we do not represent an X in any of our names. We either L's or Rays. And peace to you, Kobra Nyeil. And that's her name, and she will grow strong. And remember, for that to sink in, the cobra deals with the genetics of the snake like the ancient Egyptians wore, giving praise to that genetic that we took on that made us inferior. And that's why we deal with the snake, and we deal with the the way that snake moves, I'm going to teach my young godchild, Kobra Nyeil, to move the same way. You move and you move away from people and you go around the bullshit. You go around people. That's how a snake moves. And he's ready for anything. He's ready to one strike, tear your ass up. And he's been here forever. So that's the child I named, and I named her, and the family got back, the proper, the name and everything, I guess, the paperwork, and wanted me to say that. And peace and blessings. Again, her name is Kobra Nyeil, and she's a girl, a little baby girl. All right. Peace and blessings. This has been Soul Future Apex Solar One. Thanks for tuning in. I've been chilling lately. I've been, low because I want y'all to really sink in a lot of the things that I'm sharing with y'all. It's going above and beyond. Some people here, some people are loving the last few shows because it's about you, all right? And you feel it in you. And my teachings is nothing for you to believe. It's something for when I drop it, you feel it. So a lot of y'all, at the time, y'all heard the last program about the ether elements and the light equals life. And a lot of people called in, wow, I get that. The day that it happened, somebody listened to it, said, wow, that happened to me yesterday. Time was flying. One person called and said, yo, I was in a daydream the other day. Some person let me know on thing, yo, time don't seem like it's moving today. You feel what I share right then and there because it's the soul of you, all right? APEXXSOLAR1. So when y'all come at me with all these guys, these people, I respect them. I have nothing against them. I don't want to battle with them. I don't want to war with them. I don't want to debate with them. Go let them do what they do, and I do as I do. And if you all of this, like you said, you should be doing well. And these guys might have thousands and thousands more followers than me, thousand more platforms than me, and it shouldn't be no problem. I'm just over here tucked away. Only difference is I'm spitting my own, thing. What I'm saying out my mouth is coming out of my head and not from a long research of reading and stuff, because I stopped reading a long time ago. Yes, I did read. Yes, reading is fundamental. Yes, it's good. Yes, it's good to go out and get this stuff. But you got to also remember one day, when are you going to get your own stuff? If you can go out and read an authored book, you can sit somewhere and vibrate and meditate and see what goes into your own brain. All right? APEXXSOLAR1, man. And for that, man, I wouldn't be approached like that because a lot of the gods know me, the ones that do know me. And like I said, for you to approach me that way, or for you to want me to meet your guy or your girl that's supposed to be so, in their wisdom, I don't think they will after listening to me, or if they know who I am ahead of time, because then you would now have to sit down across from me and give me time and give Apexx the forum and allow me to speak. And then that's when it just be all over for you, because there's no one fucking with me in the third dimension. I'm too fourth dimensional. APEXXSOLAR1.